1, so we have to start this meeting. So welcome to you all for the first virtual coaching meeting today. And it is announced that the Triple A's and area development of Triple A's would like to reestablish or to reactivate the Southeast Asia and South Asia Coaches Association. So if you all see here that the moderator will be Mr. Viramani. So Mr. Viramani is one of the board member, and permit me to introduce another board member of this Asia Coaches Association, who will work very hard to make this association happen. So besides Mr. Viramani from Singapore, we have another 6 board member, Mr. Zainal Abbas from Malaysia. This is for the South Asia, Mr. Zainal Abbas from Malaysia, and then Mr. Emerson Obiena from the Philippines, and Ms. Tricia Roberts from Thailand. And from Southeast Asia, there will be Dr. Piti Usa from India, and then Mr. Jayala Ratna Surya from Sri Lanka, and Mr. Nasrullah from Pakistan. So the 7 board members will work very, very hard, I think, Mr. Vera is correct, to make this Coaches Association happen. So this is the very first virtual coaches meeting. Okay, and we will check first whether Mr. Salman is here or not. So this program is initiated by Asian Coaches Association with ADC Jakarta to make this virtual meeting. And furthermore, RDC Jakarta will only support to facilitate that this association will really happen. Okay, so now we give the time to the moderator, Mr. Vira. Time is yours. You may start this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Ruya. Thank you, ADC Jakarta, and definitely all the friends and family members who are here. I always consider ourselves as family because we are all in for the same cause. Of our objective is to raise the level of performance in South and Southeast Asia as well. It was a good, I'll call it a surprisingly pleasant honor to moderate the first session that we're having during this Olympics, which is, I think, has been by far has gone through different wavelengths of expectations, I'll call it, in preparation to this. And going forward, I think we'll have a lot of things to learn, especially from our guest, Mr. Radhakrishnan Nair, our Chief Coach of Indian Athletics Federation, who will be our first guest for this session. With that, I hope the Indian team, Mr. Radha, is settling in well in the games, and I think athletics already kicked in. We're really looking forward to some of the good performance. So, in your words, how was the team is now preparing themselves in the games?
Hi, good afternoon to all the participants. I think most of the faces are known to me, and I'm very happy Dr. Piti Usha has taken the initiative to make this Coaches Association Asia, Southeast Asia and South Asia. In fact, Viramani, when in 2020, when this Olympic was postponed, I was one of the most happiest person. I thought that we will be getting more athletes to get qualified, and we will get more time for preparation, and so that we will be much better in 2021 in Tokyo. In addition, most of our athletes, other than few, are in the average age of 23, 24. So I thought that they will be getting one more year for training. So the training year will be more, and we'll be doing better performance.
Okay.
It was all dreams. You know what happened exactly? I never expected this pandemic will go on and it will never end. Even now, it is not ending in India.
Yeah.
It is not ended. And what all the difficulties we are going to follow up, nothing I was knowing in the beginning when in March, I think April, it was declared that Olympics being postponed to 21 July. So then now regarding preparation.
Mhm.
Immediately after this pandemic started in India, we had a complete lockdown. Complete lockdown means nobody is allowed to come out of the house. No, all stadiums were closed. But luckily, with the federation's effort
Mhm.
and interest, we were allowed to train inside our camps.
Okay.
And that was the only place where you can train. Otherwise, in whole India, no stadium were open. And
Yes.
that also, all our athletes, we did not send them home. 2 months, they were confined in the rooms. They were not allowed to come out.
Mhm.
That was the initial stage of the lockdown.
Yeah.
So, we all came across with different type of, calamities like flood, war, drought, everything. But this is something entirely different. Nobody else came across with such a situation and such a, I don't know what to say, such a difficult condition. So 2 months, our main national team was confined in their rooms, and we were doing something like some strengthening. That also is very lightning and keeping their physical fitness, thinking that we are coming out within 2 months. Finally, we started our training open training in the ground and gymnasiums on 23rd of May.
Mhm.
The most difficulty is not, we all know that physical fitness and mental fitness
Mhm.
that make performance.
Yeah.
Most of our athletes were having a big dilemma, very big mental stress, because 2 months they were totally closed and they got open. They thought they can go outside the gate and
Yes.
go to the shopping or to have a dinner, special dinner or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, definitely.
But it was we had a very strict rule that no athlete we created a bio.
Okay.
No coach, no support staff, or no athlete, and the workers working in housekeeping and in the national dining hall,
Mhm.
national team cookhouse, they were all confined
Wow.
like in an open jail.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
If you
like
put
an
it that
open
way,
jail.
yeah.
You must be knowing what is open jail.
Yes. Yes.
So morning they will go out for training.
Mhm.
There's a strict observation. They're not turning right or left. They're straight going to the track.
Mm.
And then coming back, you can't go to other place. You can't break the bubble. We have made the bubbles like green area, yellow, orange, and red.
Okay.
Inside Patiala, so you have been Patiala.
Yes.
Similarly in Bangalore also.
Okay.
So going for training, coming back to the room, having the food, sleeping. Then
Wow.
again in the evening, going out for training and coming back.
Okay.
And if someone go outside of the gate,
Uh-huh.
he'll be in quarantine for 14 days.
Okay, I'll probably jump in here and ask questions. As an athlete, I mean, maybe because some of us in this panel have gone through the stages of athlete, and now we are coaches. How was the athlete managing these limitations? There's always a flow that athletes will always have, that they will get into a routine. They need to do this, that put them into that moment of preparation and all that. Now we are removing some of this, I'll call it away time from competition, away time from training, which all of us need as a break. When that was removed, how did the athlete manage that part of it?
It's a big question because they were not able to manage it.
Mm-hmm.
We forced them to manage.
Okay.
In fact, we just motivated them that we are focusing for Olympics. So I told you, I think you will not understand the situation and stress what they have undergone. Even me, I did not go out of my campus for 19 months. It is the same with our athletes.
Yeah.
So you can understand the mental stress which they had.
Yes.
There is no competitions.
Yeah, exactly.
We were, it is not only in India, we were not able to go for the world relays. That is the most important competition, qualifying competition for relays. Not a single competition we were, till Olympics, we were not able to participate. Like Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Mr. Anbarasu, Malaysia and all gone. I think Singapore also must have gone to Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. There was some competition in Turkey. There was some competition in Czech Republic. But we were not allowed, Indians were not allowed to put their step on the land of these countries. We were denied visa in the last moment. So that was another big problem which we faced our preparation. Now, Germany, our team strength is 26. Our team strength could have been 40 if there was no pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
And
definitely.
now the question, I'm coming back to your question. See, for example, you asked me that how the athletes manage. It is, we could manage this situation only by motivating them and our bosses of federation, talking to them in a interval of 1 month or 15 days, motivating. See, these are the difficulties we have to face. Otherwise, if you get infected with corona, then your whole days will be over and you're training for the last three years for Olympics. So
definitely.
it all will be collapsed. And surprisingly, before we can say by May, June, April, May, June, they were just realized that yes, our main focus is Olympics. Just let us all forget about girlfriends, boyfriends,
yes,
and other parents and wives and sisters and brothers.
Yeah.
So they managed, and lucky it was a real training to come to Tokyo, because they didn't feel anything when we came to Tokyo. The restrictions.
Yes. I mean, we
already had a training.
Exactly, because this is what I say, that what you guys are currently facing was not much different probably from already the situations I think especially the Indian team would have experienced. What is also amazing to understand is that the actualization of the athlete, that they say, look, it will take some time to settle in. I mean, the when you remove a comfort part of an athlete, of a human being especially, which I think many of us here go through without being an Olympic athlete, that now that I'm restricted from not going out to eat and dine in with my family. When I go out to dine in with my family, I have to sit separately because of the restriction. So all these do have a little bit of, I would call it, uncomfortness, pressure and all that. But from an athlete who's trying to prepare themselves for the pinnacle of their I'll call it status of achievement that they're looking towards, all this where they will draw energy from. And when they remove it, it is again, you look from the adaptability form that they realize, like just you mentioned, that towards the later half, they got together and say, look, yes, this is what I want. I can minimize the comfort time with when they don't get to go out and all that, which is very interesting. Now let's talk about a little bit about coaches, because I think coaches and the coaching team you have would have a tremendous pressure, I believe, that you guys are also put into that situation where you are now expected two things. One is to ensure the morals of the athletes are high, and second, your morals has to be high in order to motivate them, because then it is going to be a lot of question on your side, because now the preparation is not going as how it used to be or how you guys have planned previous games. How do you guys as coaches, I mean as a team of coaches, how do you guys manage that?
Veera, it is not only the coaches, we have supporting staff as well. All physiotherapists, mashers, male, female mashers. They also had the same problem and same mental stress, but we made them to motivate their athletes to say that you have to be with this situation and to reach your targets. So now you understand, when I have been put Veeramani, and this is your responsibility to make all of them understand the necessity of this particular situation, the difficulty of situation, then definitely I don't need to motivate you. Am I right?
Because yeah, sure. Of course.
It is, in fact, for me, 19 months I was in the confinement. 19 months. Will you believe? I had been 6 days in between. That is 2019 November was the last day I visited my home. But on 2020, my son marriage was there. So I went 6 days. You know, why I chosen 6 days? If I go for more days, I had to be in quarantine in my place 14 days. When I come back to my national camp, another 14 days quarantine. So 28 days is just gone like. So there was a provision I can go for 6 days without any quarantine. So that was the only days I was. It is similar with every coach, every support staff.
Okay.
They were not allowed to go. If they are breaking the biobubble, they have to be in quarantine for 14 days. Quarantine is in another big confinement. You know, it's like that is just like jail. The other one is open jail. That is the only difference.
Okay.
You will be locked in one room. Your food is being brought to your room. You eat, sleep. Again in the afternoon, lunch will come, dinner will come. You cannot step out of the room. That was, anyway, we could safeguard. That is whatever we could safeguard our athletes not getting infected with corona. You know, once infected with corona, I think you all will agree with me. He won't be able to participate in Olympics because the intensity of infection is different. We have one athlete infected, that is Darun. You may be knowing, he was a hurdler.
Okay.
He was Asian silver medalist in Asian Games silver medalist in Jakarta. He was infected and 20 days was admitted. Afterwards, he was not able to even jog. So he left the camp and gone. He said, bye, I'll be nowhere useful for coming Olympics, so let me go home.
Okay.
So, and
Must
in
be tough for
addition,
him, Must be tough
in
for him.
addition that what you said, their stress, there are so many relatives, parents are infected with corona. And some of the relatives passed away, like grandmother, mother, grandmother, sister, all are admitted due to corona. How he can do training peacefully?
Yes, exactly.
So there was lot of stress with them. Anyway, however we overcome all this, and now we are on the move. And first day was not good. Second day will be changing the scenario of Indian athletics. I hope, I believe, because Indian athletics after independence we never got a medal in athletics. So,
Let's see.
That is.
Well, that's very good. I mean, to see that some of these things are evolving despite some of the, like you mentioned, some of the challenges, the social emotional challenges that athlete has faced due to this, I'll call it pandemic as well. Especially when you're hearing news of your relation not feeling well, and I know how closely knitted Indian families are, and when it comes to such obligations and you're not able to fulfill, it will be a lot more of your own moral obligation that will be questioned and all that, which is, I believe it's across Asian societies we have that as well. Coming to coaching styles a little bit, I believe there must have been a major shift in your plannings in terms of how you guys would have planned. And I believe, like what my friend Ekawit once told me, that planning goes out of the window this season because nothing can be done as what it's supposed to be. How do you guys, I'll call it, what are the steps you took to ensure that you still can bring the best performance, which we are seeing at the moment? I mean, for a start, that you ensured. What are the steps you guys have taken as coaches?
Veera, as you said, the planning all gone through windows because we could not do anything according to our planning. In Patiala, in winter, I think you had been here. Winter, it is acute cold. It goes to -1 sometime. In summer, it goes to 46, 47 degrees, which we just came from there. So definitely not only planning, our training strategies were changed because we are not able to train. Now in summer, we were not able to train after 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning because it is 42 degrees, 40 degrees. In the evening after 7:30, 8. So the recovery of the athletes was very short because if they start training at evening 7:30, they will be finishing their training by 9:30, 10. Then after dinner, lunch, they will be sleeping. Again, they have to be back at 5:36 in the morning. So the recovery was very short for our athletes. So, once recovery is short, what we can, so we could not achieve the target which we were expecting in some events, especially events which is more in outdoor, like middle and long distance, 400 meter, they could not. But of course, the throwers, they do only 2 or 3 outdoor sessions like throwing. Other rest of the sessions, then the air condition also, they could do it. Totally the planning and training strategies are totally abrupted. It was a very big, difficult task to bring it and tie it up, get a good performance. In winter, we were supposed to do only one time training because after 10 in the morning, you can't find the sun. So it will be very cold and you cannot do any training after 3. So we were just in the time of preparation period. We were doing one session where we can do 2 sessions and to load something. So the loading has not occurred.
Okay.
It was another problem which we face in training. So normally we used to shift our team to the country like South Africa during winter, and during summer to Turkey or Czech Republic or some places. But this all nothing could happen.
Okay.
So planning has gone through windows.
Yes. Okay. Wow. Okay. Somebody is sharing. Okay. And just a reminder to our guests as well, and as well as to our participants, our fellow coaches. If you have any questions that you want to ask, or you feel like asking Mr. Nair in terms of how the Indian team has prepared, you can type in the chat, and probably I think later on either Padwi or Ibu Ria can let us know of that. Okay. So yeah, it's rather interesting that it has come to a point where planning preparation for major games has gone certain ways. I believe different part of the world has different, I'll call it restrictions, or I'll call it freedom a little bit, that they manage differently. So for you as a head coach right now, I believe I'm coming down from athlete all the way to a level of a head coach. I believe definitely there will be expectation from the Indian government as well as probably the wider audience of athletics. What are some of the thoughts that you had as a head coach, as a chief coach of the national team, preparing? I don't believe any of the national coach or the chief coach has gone through such a tremendous stressful situation of preparing for an Olympics. And how do you manage this, you as an individual? What are some of the preparations you had?
Veeraman, it was more, I think, such a challenging situation I never come across in my life. See, as it be told, sorry, as we explain now, first, to keep the athlete get motivated. That was one of the most important responsibility, and to reduce their mental stress by frequently talking to them, whenever I get time. Because we never used to meet each other because of that COVID. So I organize Zoom meeting in the morning, sometimes in the evening. Then I discuss with them. I motivate them, ask for possible, and I bring some psychologist and having some psychology discussion. So my biggest challenge was to keep this athlete mentally fit, mentally strong, rather than I did not much bother about physical. Because you can't imagine the situation which I faced with athletes. Some people don't get sleep after 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I said, last 3 days I am not sleeping up to 3 o'clock. There were psychological problems with that. But of course, as I said, slowly they got adopted it. Then regarding coaches also sometimes comes to me, if I want to go for a week, when he say, want to go for a week, you make it 28 plus 7, 35 days he will be going to be absent. Because 14 days in his place quarantine, 7 days he will be with his home chores. When he come back in Patiala, another 14 days. So that I used to explain to them, you are losing 35 days. Not I am losing, your athletes are losing 35 days of your presence. So let us wait for some time.
Mm.
This pandemic will be getting okay, then we can enjoy. Most challenging, and it is stressful. Even for me, it was a big stress. I also don't get sleep because every day thinking about what is going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
And what will be the results.
Mm.
No, it's all a big problem. It was a big challenge. I thought even just go home.
Mhm.
And then I thought this is not the time to leave and go.
Mm.
A lot of stress I had, and today I'm fit. But if the situation continue for another 2 years, I may become unfit. Unfit means not able to reach to my. Even Dr. P.T. Usha all knows how difficulty they had in their training. She's also coaching.
Mm. That's nice.
The
Yes.
condition.
I mean,
Anyway, it is a great experience.
Mhm.
I
Okay.
don't-
Yes. So then, like I said, it is like I said, we more at times like this, we always, we are hearing only about the athletes, how the athletes are managing the success. But many a times we don't understand that there's a very good close relationship between athlete and coaches. And I always believe that this relationship is very much emotionally attached because it is a performance or a performance creation that happens through a good understanding between two human beings who want to achieve, I'll call it sporting greatness. And it is like an energy spark. When one is weak, another one has to be strong, and vice versa. So that way you keep that whole thing going. And I think in this situation, in this pandemic, I believe that has been put to test in many of the athletes coach relationship. And I think, and especially if you look from that unit, and that unit is part of a bigger unit that we have, you are heading as a tip of it, which means you have to ensure that the whole entire framework is held together. And I mean, I've never gone through, I don't think I would ever get a chance to go through what you have went through, but I think it'll be good to, at least I'm heard here, how much you guys have taken tremendous steps to ensure some of these arenas that you'll explore, in terms from confinement, imagine the expectations, the disappointments, and the frustrations that you have to face on a daily basis. And it's not just now we're talking about it, but day to day, you will get at least 10 different people approaching you for 10 different things. And on top of that, you have another 10 more things sitting down from on top, which I believe it is something which I think would be, like I would call it, a good learning point for people to listen, to understand, which is why we wanted to organize this meeting with you, because I believe this is an opportunity. This part of preparation, not many of us get to hear. We'll never get a chance to hear it because we only talk about success. No one, I did this. But this is the struggle that is important to understand, because if you understand the struggle, it's easy to know, okay, what are the solutions I can look forward to, and what are the solutions you have looked forward to, or next time I know, hey, if I went through the same situation, I can approach you. Yes.
Any question in the chat room from Mr.
Okay.
Simon?
Okay, Simon have asked questions. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. As a coach, we're already planning through the years with certain warm-up competition and main competition. So in this COVID-21, he calls it COVID-19, no competition. How you replace competitions in periodization plan? So Simon asking, what are the steps you've taken to replace competitions?
In fact, a competition is competition. But how we manage it is that we organize some quality type of workouts.
Mm-hmm.
So we made, of course, it is not a competition from the athletes from outside.
Mm-hmm.
Those who are, for example, 400 meter, we have 10 athletes. We used to make a 400 meter run and like a quality workout.
Mm-hmm.
But however, it does not solve a feeling of competition with the athletes.
Mm.
Competition is always competition. Even we have organized in 2020, we could organize only one championship, that is Federation Cup.
Mm-hmm.
In 2021, we have organized one competition as Federation Cup in March, 3 Indian Grand Prix. Of course, a lot of restriction. That also was a big challenge to conduct the competition because the state government does not permit, the central government does not permit. We went all around, and then the athletes coming outside to the bio bubble has to do their RT-PCR 72 hours before then getting to the competition and escorting them back. Not allowing them to mix with any of our other athletes because till we can have chances of getting COVID. So we could organize this year in 2021 about 6 competitions. One is interstate. That was the last final selection trial which ended from 25th to 29. We invited some of our neighboring countries, like Malaysia and all, were afraid of coming to India. Sri Lanka has been with us. Then Maldives was with us. Of course, I invited Thailand also, but it was quite difficult for them. Even it was difficult for them, the athletes from other states to participate. They were afraid. Parents were afraid to come to another place, traveling and all this. So we had about definitely the planning of training without competition. It is just like we can't say a training. That was the biggest mental stress for athletes. We are not able to compete. We are not able to check where I'm standing.
Yeah.
Do definitely. I improve? Do I lost? Do I need? And even for coaches to assess their training or further monitoring their training to where they stand. This, Simon, this was the biggest problem which coaches face as well as athletes.
Yeah.
Somewhere of the way we manage the competitions but still they were not happy with that competition which we organized among them. They want somebody else to compete with them.
Yeah.
So we managed, but it was not that successful. We had, of course, Indian Grand Prix and Federation Cup and Interstate. We had very good participation from all over India. But not like other previous years in 2019. We had about 700, 800 athletes, senior athletes for Federation Cup and about 1,000 plus in the junior in Interstate. And we organized some junior championship also in India in 2021, not in 2020. We closed completely the competition. Now this year again we have Open National Championship in September. Then recently now one competition going on from Bangladesh. Some athletes are participating. There is Junior Federation Cup. That is actually today we had a selection committee meeting for the World Junior Championship, which is going to happen in Nairobi.
Okay.
So Seman, without competition, training planning is very difficult. Training itself is difficult. There should be competition. We could manage some other way, but it is not to that level or to the level of satisfaction of athlete or coach. Hope Simon is reply.
I think, like I said, it's not about whether we. I think it's good experience to know you guys how you have managed the lack of competitions within the Indian team and within India itself to ensure that you persevered to continue with the competition as long as it's planned. You ensure that it takes place, whether it's going to be with or without foreign competitors. I think that is rather interesting. And despite that, I believe Avinash for steeplechase, he ran a personal best.
Avinash Sable.
Yes,
he ran his personal best. 8:18.
Yes,
but he narrowly lost to get qualified for the finals. But still, then the long distance events in the world arena, they are not that. Still not at reach. But Avinash is a very talented boy. We were actually, Gundar had made a big plan for him to do training in Uganda. He was supposed to leave to Uganda in the month of March this year, April this year. You know what happened? He was infected with COVID, but not very severe, asymptomatic. To go to African countries, we need the yellow fever vaccination certificate.
Okay.
So he could not take that by the time it was become May. So he could not do, but still he has performed good. This year in Federation Cup, he has done, not in Federation Cup in March 2018. 8:20, he has improved to 8:18. It's good. 8:18, 1:2. It is good performance. And yesterday we had one of our girl done discus throw. That is also good, very good. And our javelin throw is also doing good. Something I told you, that history of athletics may be changed. I can't say, we all coaches know, we can't predict.
Yeah, sure.
So this is as the day,
Yes.
yesterday in discus throw, the girl from Cuba, she's doing 70 plus. She was out of the qualifying round.
Yes.
So that it is all happens.
Yeah, I mean, like
even
I said,
men discus throw, there are very, very outstanding discus throwers who could not qualify.
correct.
When you see the results, the results, some of the countries like Poland is the only one country continuously trained. In Spala, they were not allowing anybody to get into the place. When we used to go to Spala. And they're performing. For example, you take the mixed relay team. They came champion, and US was the best team, they were third. And you take the sprinters in US, I think nobody is from here. They are not performing good. You can see today's 100-meter finals. Even the heat size in some of the very good athletes is out.
Yeah. I think I was listening to yesterday as European athletics as well, that at least the European communities had the competition, Grand Prix opened up. But I believe where the US athletes were unable to come in due to the restrictions, travel. So again, I think like you mentioned,
The problem with your
so it is. I think it is globally. Different continent has adopt different strategy based on what is allowable within their situation, and I think it is quite pleasant to see in terms of a set of leveling up performance. I don't know whether you call it that way, because almost everybody have the similar standard of preparation. There's no one had more, one has less, but of course that is still too early to say. But looking at some of the performances came out of it, especially from yesterday's 100-meter woman, I think ongoing for some of the discus event you just mentioned, this has been becoming very exciting for us. I did a quick research on the number of Olympians who have went to the finals from India. So at total, based on up to yesterday, based on Kamala Prit's call, she's the number 11th Olympian who have gone to the finals. So I'm not talking about qualifying for the Olympics, but which is amazing to see from India's point of view. You guys have been doing well in technical events. You see, if I were to go all the way back to 1948, because this is what I got from the article, you have high jumps, you had triple jumps, you had discus throw, you have 400 hurdles, you had 800-meter runners. Miss P.T. Usha is here. The closest medals you could have come, who missed out in 1984.
She lost the medal by one. She lost the medal by 1/100 of a second.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and I look at it, long jump. So a lot of technical events seems to be a strong point for Indian athletics. So would that again give an indication for Athletics Federation of India to look at technical event as a possible, like you said, I always use Sweden as one of the examples, that they came very strongly in some of the very good technical events and they succeeded at the elite level. Would India, from your analysis over the years, would that be opportunities to explore for a medal? Because to be frank, you had two finalists in both discus event in 2012, Vikesh and Krishna Pune. So these two were discus throwers, male and female, went into the finals. And we already had one right now for a moment. And I believe you're going to have another two more coming in from the javelin side for the men. So there seems to be a lot of, I would call it hope in terms of medal chasing for athletics on Indian part. So what are some of your thoughts around that?
Exactly, Veera, as you said, we have identified events for Olympics, we have identified events for World Championship, we have identified events for Commonwealth Games, we have identified events for Asian Games. So we are not much concentrating for Olympics, not all the events. There are few events only we are identified.
Mhm.
Now, the walking, it is a very good event. We have 6 walkers qualified for Olympics now.
Yes.
3 men and 2 women in 50, 20 and 1 man in. So we are identified. It's only limited. I can just remember and tell it's
Mhm.
only no 100, 200, 400. We have
Mhm.
4 into 400 relay, men, women. We have 4 into 400 mixed relay,
Mhm.
javelin throw, discus throw, shot put, and there is no hammer, no pole vault,
Mm.
and long jump man, long jump. Very few, limited. But for Asian Games, we have much more number of.
Mm.
And for Commonwealth Games also, it's not much number of events which we are concentrating. So it is there. We have already, long before we are identified the events and then we selected some group and training going on that. Then, is now I remember it is not easy for you also know that to get qualified for Olympics, especially in this year. And number of athletes getting qualified. Even in 2012, if you see Olympics, London Olympics, there was hardly 12 members. That also out of the 2 relays were.
Mhm.
So, and 1 or 2 throwing. Now it has in Rio it has gone to 30, but now in 2021 it has gone down to 26 because I told you that we could not participate in World Relay Championship. Otherwise, 4415 was the bronze medal in Silesia
Mhm.
in Poland for the World Relay. But our girls were very good in 43.25, 43.45 they were doing. If they could have participated, another 6 could have been in our team. Right?
Mhm. Mhm.
So we could have been 32. Similarly, some middle and long distance athletes, they could not get qualified because they did not get any competitions outside India. They were running, leading to get a better world ranking. They could
Mhm.
not go for it.
Okay.
So, in fact, India is improving, I believe.
Yeah.
Let us.
Mhm.
Let
Okay,
us
a question here from Simon again. How many sports scientist staff attached to Indian team at in this peak timing? How frequently athletes had motivation by sports psychologists to keep training with less competition?
in our center itself, like Patiala as well as in Bangalore,
Mhm.
we have even with Mr. Dr. P. Usha also, we have sports medicine experts working with the team. And in addition, we have, of course, they are not sports science stuff like, a lot of physiotherapy. We have got every group, we have got qualified physiotherapists and male and female mashers. And then all these sports facilities, like for example, in the pandemic period, we are taking a lot of support from physiology lab. You know why? Physiology lab during this pandemic and psychology people, everybody, it's not attached. They are with us. We have biomechanics expert, we have sports psychology expert, we have sports physiology expert, and we have anthropometry expert with us. And everything. Then it's not only during this pandemic period, it is always with us.
Always
They
there,
are
okay.
always.
Okay. So I hope Simon got the question there done. I think what will be I'll call it going forward would be our as coaches. I think we always do practice reflections, whether the manner we have taken actions, the way we have planned, the way we have dealt with situations. Going forward, what would be some of the immediate reflections you would have had right now? I mean, if I ask you to reflect upon the journey to here, what would be your thoughts? What are the things that you would know that if I am going to face something very similar, let's say example, I'm not going to say when, in near future, what would that be?
My reflection. See, I don't think this pandemic is going to be away from us in a short.
Mm-hmm.
I expect that it is even 2024 till 2024. Next Paris Olympics also will be in the similar manner. So we have to follow the same style of training for another 1 or 2 years or sometime more. So this is in fact what did I say? We will be following the same type of training in the future, because we cannot just go out or to be open like that. And it is a very difficult situation. My reflection is that it will be quite difficult for us coaches to continue the training what earlier we used to do. A lot of competitions, training in different timings, and outing and all. It will be very difficult for us. As Simon said, we need more psychologists along with us. And so that is my reflection. I want to say that it is quite difficult to continue our training. We may have to follow the same manner which we have followed now, maybe with little bit of relaxation, but we can't think about the golden days. Golden days.
I mean, well said. I mean, like I said, we are now put into another, I'll call it dimension of thinking. You know, how else can we still bring the best out of performance of an athlete? I think we have scrambled when the initial stage hit every of us, I believe, that when such a thing happened, all of us scrambled at athletes who are performing at different level of their athletics achievements, and we were kind of finding our grounds, and then somehow we felt that we found it, and then we still get curveballs coming in, whether the Olympics is going to take place or not, whether it is going to be competitions available or not. So again, these are things that I think it has put a tremendous pressure on the coaching fraternity globally, I'll put it, that they have taken a new perspective to see, look, what else can we do in future? How else can we still bring the best out of it? I believe some of the methods were employed were non-conventional methods, and you guys would have worked on it. Definitely, we would find another opportunity to talk about that when we have, because at the moment, I believe you're still in the process of ensuring the team performing well at the games. It's still too early. We also have the honor of having Frank Dick, our global chief for Coaches Association, with us. Probably Frank, you want to have a word?
Yes, they are
mute. Unmute.
Mr. Frank, you're on mute. Can't hear you.
Frank, you are on mute. Open your mute button. We're there.
Yes.
We okay?
Yes, you can hear you now.
First, good morning, everybody. I hope you're in great shape. Well done in pulling together this coaches club. It's just to follow up on the last point. I think we as coaches have to understand that we are change agents, right? We make change happen, and we adapt to change. There are if you like, there are three critical things we have to learn as coaches if we're going to move forward in our profession. First of all, we have to be able to adapt to change when it's happening. And congratulations to everybody who's managed to do that through the pandemic. And as we've heard from our colleagues here, this is not going to go away. This is going to be part of life in the future. So we must be thinking now, how do we continuously learn to adapt to the change that's going to be before us, right? That's the first thing. Secondly, there's in the words of an Italian general at the beginning of last century, victory smiles on those who anticipate the changing character of war, not those who wait till it's happened and then try to adapt. So another thing about coaches is we must be able to anticipate what are the changes ahead of us here. For example, for the first time in our history, we are going to have to prepare for an Olympic Games in 3 years, not 4. And I'm presuming that coaches have already thought this out. How are you going to do that? How do you adjust the time that you have in order to be excellent in France? And the final thing is, what's to stop us creating change? These three qualities as coaches, we must learn to develop and become really sophisticated in. Now, it's my recollection from Southeast Asia and South Asia, we have some pretty creative people down there, right? We have really creative minds. So all I'm suggesting to you now is that we take time. The moment that these games are over, we have a look at what's happened in here. What did we learn in our preparation for the games, and what trends are there? Then we ask ourselves the question, what is it going to take to get a medal or to get great performances in Paris in 2024? And then, as you all know, my philosophy on these things, we plan backwards from there. We don't plan forwards, we plan backwards. If you don't know where you're going, you can't plan the journey. So where are we trying to get to? What changes might be taking place? And this, I think, is going to be a good meeting for us all in this group here. Have a good meeting after the games are over. How do we change how we operate in life as coaches to be even better prepared ourselves personally and our athletes for Paris? Does that make sense, Vera?
Yeah, exactly. That will be the definite point of coming back together once the games is over. Just ask what are the changes we have made, what are the good performances came out of that change, and what are the things could have been improved. And if that improvement is within or not within your circumstance, then how you want to reorg the whole thing to see how the betterment of it can change about it. Again, yeah, definitely it will be a good point to come back to see how we can find out from each other what are the changes they've made.
Good, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think with that, I would like to thank Mr. Radha for a great opportunity to, in the midst of a very busy, I'll call it a competition and games going on, that you have given us your thoughts, your sharings. Probably right now I'll hand it over to Ms. Ria to proceed from here. Thank you, Ms. Ria.
Thank you very much, Mr. Viramani, to lead us for this very interesting discussion. And some other coaches also can ask directly to Mr. Nair about his experience. And we will have 2 more virtual coaches meeting. The second will be on the 4th of August, and then the last will be on the 7th of August. On the 4th of August, we will have the speaker, Mr. Emerson Obiena from Philippines, and who is his son? His son is Ernest Obiena, who is qualified for pole vault and now can pass the qualification round and goes to the final round. Okay, so it will be our speaker for the second virtual coaches meeting. For the on the 7th of August, maybe we will invite coaches from other continents. Maybe Mr. Gunter Langer or maybe Mr. Thomas Sudi to share their to all of you can ask about their experience, and also to evaluate how the Asian coaches and Southeast Asia coaches have a competition in this Olympic. Okay, and now before we close this meeting, we have here Mr. Salman Iqbal, the Area Development Director. Mr. Salman, we cordially invite you to have a closing remarks. Time is yours, Mr. Salman.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Good morning, good evening, afternoon, depending on where you are. I'd like to thank Frank. Thank you, sir, very much for being there this morning, as it is morning in the UK, I suppose. And definitely, you know, as we talked about, slowly and steadily, we are getting to our objectives one by one. Okay, before I go any further and explain a couple of things very quickly, I'd like to thank Mr. Nair, our chief coach this afternoon, who has been very kind to spend with us from his very busy schedule. We have seen him on TV, and believe you me, he's very busy as a coach. He has so many things to do. Thank you very much, sir, for being with us this afternoon and sharing with us your experiences and how you went through and how you coped with COVID. Definitely, it's a big experience that you shared with us, and we will definitely benefit from your experience. Okay, this is what we are doing here this afternoon is part of the Coaches Association that we are trying to reestablish and reactivate. And this part of the Coaches Association belongs to ADC Jakarta and the affiliates associated with the ADC Jakarta, the 18 and the 19 affiliates. One of the things that we decided upon, one of the objectives was that we create a coaches club, and the coaches club would be created for every area championship or games, because whenever coaches come in and they are so busy with their teams, with their athletes, they need some place where they can physically come out there and communicate with each other. They can talk to each other and exchange views and just be social with each other. So World Athletics, through their policy, has made it mandatory for all organizers and all host MFs to provide a coaches club which is physically available there on location after 2023. Okay, with that said and done, we wanted to initiate this as soon as possible, and we came up with the idea mutually, and Frank was very helpful with it, that he created, or he rather advised us to create a virtual room in which all the coaches, all the people associated with the Coaches Association can come here, and we can have our own coaches room in which we can exchange views. We can have somebody like Mr. Nayar this afternoon come in and talk to us from the Olympic arena, and so forth and so on. So many things can be done in this coaches room. So I'm very glad that this is the first meeting, or this is the first chat room, whatever you want to call it, for the Coaches Club this afternoon. And it will continue on for a couple of more days, and I'll leave that to Ria, whichever days he wants to select, so we can get together again a couple of days from now and discuss the different events that are happening at the Olympics. And I'm sure there are going to be some good and some that may be controversial. So it's a good place to come in and discuss everything amongst ourselves and in the region. So thank you very much for being here. And I hope you're also here for the next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Salman.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Salman. Thank you very much indeed. And okay, so we close this meeting, and then we would like to see you all on the second meeting.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for a great initiative. Thank you, Chief. Thank you,
Bye.
Coach Dick. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much
Thank
for
you.
everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Nair. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Franz.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Great job. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Ira.
Thank you. Thank you. Abang.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you, Ira, and thank you,
Thank you,
Virat.
Mr. Salman.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ria.
Thank
Both
you,
Ria.
everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Dennis,
Everyone.
thank you so much.
See you in
Congratulations.
court.
Thank you,
Emerson will
everyone.
be here.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, all of you.
Eve.